What's up, handsome people? Today I have a very cool case study for you where I'm gonna show you how I helped an e-commerce health brand that's like makes like 8 figures a year generate a little bit over $2.5 million using just email. Today with me, I also have like my trusted tripod. You cannot see it, but he only has like 3 legs. And yeah, now let's get into the Klaviyo account so I can share a little bit more details. Now, as you can see here, taking a look at the numbers, they generated like a little bit, yeah, I mean, 11 like a millions last year. And with emails, you can see that the campaigns were a little bit over 1 million and the flows were like a 1.5 millions. And I think that this case study will be very valuable because this is a brand that I say that it plays like the e-commerce game in hard mode. So for example, they don't have a subscription. Okay, so there's no reason for people to buy their products again after like a 30, 60, 90 days. They also don't promote affiliate offers, which is like a what one segment of e-commerce brands, especially the supplement white label space does a lot, like especially via email. So we also don't do this because they only want to promote their own product, and they also are not big fans of aggressive discounting. We use a few discounts every now and then, but yeah, I mean, you won't see like a crazy things like a, I don't know, like a 50% off or stuff like that. So now, without any further ado, let's get into the case study. And first things first, guys. Yeah, I mean, the results, yeah, I'm going to say are not typical or guaranteed. I mean, this came from strategic thinking and consistent execution with a brand that was willing to test ideas, and they had a great team. I cannot emphasize how important this is because okay, it's one thing to have amazing ideas, and it's another thing like it for like okay, the company to let you use those ideas. I think that a lot of brands, they're losing a lot of money by not actually by hiring someone who they think is like a amazing at what they do, but then the brands are not gonna be willing to test things outside of what they have been testing so far. So this is like a important. The next, we also had I mean, they had like a great team overall. Okay, so I mean, everyone is like a world class, from the people who do like the customer service to the social media manager to the YouTube manager to the Facebook ad manager, even like to the product, and even the board of scientists that this company has. So everyone's like a very it was like a world class. So yeah, I mean, your results will vary based on your brand, niche, team, offer, list size, zodiac sign, tolerance to gluten, and humor. And hopefully you can understand that I've been I'm having like a little bit of fun here. Now, a little bit more context about the brand because it's important. As I mentioned, it's a health brand, and they sell products that most people don't immediately know they need. Now, I'm being purposefully not 100% clear about the brand because yeah, I mean, I have an NDA. I cannot just name them, but I can share some details. Up next, I mean, not up next, but I mean, we also had to educate them people on the problem before selling. So this creates a lot of sales friction. So for example, if you have, let's say, a skincare brand, yeah, I mean, people know that they have problems with their skins. Like they do not need, let's say, a 20-minute a video sales letter or a 5,000 word a text sales page explaining, hey, here's what the problem is. They know they have a skincare issues. This is this makes things easier. Or the same if you're selling I don't know a knives, or if you're selling I don't know some gags, or if you're selling a weight loss supplements or whatever. So we didn't have this luxury. We have to explain to people the problem a little bit and kind of connect it to other problems that they're facing in their day-to-day lives. So this makes things harder for us. And the price point is around $250. I mean, whenever we're selling something, some of our packages, we sell a one pack, 3 pack, 6 pack, 9 pack, and a few other variations, because we have one product that we sell on the front end, and then we have a few other products that we sell on the back end. But yeah, I mean, just a little bit more detail. Another very important thing, yeah, I mean, the products last for at least 5 years, so making a repeat purchase is hard. And we also mention this in our marketing. We say, hey, if you buy this now, yeah, I mean, it's gonna keep working for at least 5 years. So as you can understand, yeah, I mean, this makes like a repeat purchases or retention, if you will, a little bit hard. Next, and this is like also very important, we spend like a good amount of money like a on ads, and it would vary between like a $9,000 and $50,000 a day. And I mean, you can see, and you can frankly see this happening here. So for example, like we started like in January like with like so much money, and then like you will see that during like June there was like a drop. I don't remember what exactly happened there. I think like um, we realized that some of our angles that we were using on the front end, yeah, they weren't like 100% compliant. So we were worrying about getting a cease and desist letter. So yeah, because we started using some health influencers in our hooks, and then we realized, you know what, maybe this will create like some friction in the future. Yeah, we didn't want to. Yeah, we're not interested like in being scammy or anything. So yeah, I mean, we just like removed those hooks and we started like creating some of our own. And yeah, I mean, since we stopped tapping into the power, into the brand power of the guys that we were using, we noticed like a drop in revenue, as you can see here. And then like from like October and later, like things picked up. Now, why I'm saying this? Because as you can see, like what happened like with the campaigns and what happened with the flows, yeah, I mean, they like are very much like tied together with what was happening on the front end. So this is like a very important to keep in mind, guys. If like something happens on your front end, yeah, don't expect, if something bad happens on the front end, don't expect miracles on the back end and specifically in the emails. I kind of sound like a Captain Obvious here, but I've had like a story. I've heard stories like from other people in the email marketing space where I mean they have to explain to their clients like basic stuff like this. So yeah, please understand this. Okay, so if something happens on the front end, yeah, this is gonna affect what happens on your emails. Now maybe you can do like something to delay this, so maybe like a email can keep chugging along like nicely without like a huge changes like on the front end. I had this like happen where like we noticed like a drop in income. I mean, I don't know, let's say like at the beginning of June, but because I sent like a good amount of campaigns, yeah, I mean, we didn't notice like a huge drop in income, but yeah, I mean, eventually it will catch on and you will have to adjust your expectations. Now, let's go back to this. Where were we? Here we were. So let's go back. So we talked about like the spending. Now, when I started working with this company, we had like two lists, 28,000 buyers, and then 28,000 like prospects. Of course, like over time, like those lists grew, but that's like how we started. And within like 12 months, my email marketing strategy generated over like $2.5 million in revenue for this brand. And here, like I'm gonna show you like just five of the gazillion like strategies that actually help. And I say gazillion because there are lots of things that go into like an email marketing strategy. It's kind of hard to pinpoint them and say, hey, I mean, this was like a more important than this one. But I think that in this case study, I did like a pretty good job explaining like the big picture stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna show you, I'm not gonna tell you, here's how to write an email. Okay, we're not gonna do this, but I'm gonna give you like some strategies that I believe will apply to every single e-commerce brand out there. The first strategy is something I call trusted email advisor. And frankly, guys, I mean, if you can just understand like this strategy and you apply it to your email marketing moving forward, you will not have any problems whatsoever with your revenue. And for those of you like who are like a little bit more well read when it comes like to marketing, you might have heard like the term trusted advisor, and this is like something that we got like from Jay Abraham. And if you don't know who Jay is, he's like one of the best marketing and business minds of our times. He has generated like billions for his clients. He has, I mean, everyone who you respect in the marketing world right now, they probably read or consumed some material from Jay at one point in their lives. Or if they didn't consume like from Jay directly, it probably was from someone who Jay, I don't know, like taught like throughout like his years. And he has this amazing strategy, this amazing principle, which is like the strategy of preeminence. And I'm just gonna read it because it's like a short and very powerful. And yeah, it says it's a powerful yet simple strategy where you see yourself as your market's most trusted advisor. So keyword here, like a most trusted advisor. At the heart of it all, you also have to believe that what you're doing is for a greater good, that you're selfless in your business goal to serve the client better and more fully than anybody else does. The money will follow, but that is just an acknowledgement that you are serving others in ways they value and want to reward. As a result, your perception and persona will transform the relationship with the client. Again, guys, like a very simple concept, but if you actually apply it like in your business and specifically your email marketing, yeah, I mean, amazing things will happen. And it's just like a mindset that is gonna drive the how and what of what we do with email. And as long as you follow this one thing, yeah, I promise you, yeah, you won't have problems with your revenue. And it's important to actually show you an example. I cannot really help you with the how here because again, it's a way you think and you operate. Okay, if you genuinely are a mission driven, a purpose driven a business, this should be something and of course of course we want to behave like this. But I don't know, if someone is a shady motherfucker and yeah, I mean they just want to try and take advantage of people, they want to sell stuff that doesn't work. Yeah, I mean you cannot use this. But there are ways that you can actually communicate to the world that hey, okay, here's, I mean, I'm a trusted advisor without actually going out and saying, hey, I'm a trusted advisor, okay? Because when it comes to email or all other sorts of communication, it's more powerful to actually show, not tell. And I'm just gonna show you a one email of all the thousands we have used for this brand that I believe really nicely encapsulates this trusted email advisor strategy. So here's the body copy, and we literally start this way. We recently received this message, and what I did here is I saw a one email that was sent to our customer service people, and I'm like, you know what? That's great material for an email. So I'm gonna write something here because it tackles three important points that we have seen them being mentioned throughout the years about this brand. And yeah, I thought it would be a great way to make some sales while also positioning ourselves as a trusted email advisor. So the message we got was this, and I'm just gonna read I mean, you will see that I have highlighted three different sentences here because again, those are the three important points. So number one, your ad mentioned that somebody asked why it was so expensive, but they never heard an answer. You can read the rest here. So the ad would make the simple with aluminum foil hats drain their bank accounts. And number three, buying something that Walmart generates millions of. So we have three important points here. And I mean, throughout the years, people have asked, hey, why is this so expensive? Number two, we had some people throughout the years, our buyers, say that, hey, I mean, I really like your product and I really think that it helps me. But when I talked about it to my friends and my family, they kind of laughed at me. Okay, so this was another issue. And number three, buying something that Walmart generates millions of. So essentially saying or communicating that, hey, there's probably a cheaper version out there. So why should I even go with your version? Which is a big problem to have when you try to position yourself as a premium brand. So what I did is I answered this. And here's how we did it. First, I need to address something. And again, guys, I mean, I'm just reading you the email. This is the email I actually wrote. This is the email that was sent to the list. Calling our customers simple is disrespectful. Right? Because, yeah, it is. Our customers include neurosurgeons, engineers, research scientists, business leaders, amazingly educated men and women. And this is the truth, guys. Because personally, one thing that I do whenever I see someone buy a lot of stuff from us, so not let's say one package or something, but maybe we had some people who drop I think a 7K in one order. That's 7K, guys, to a product that people, I don't know, maybe they're gonna spend $100 or $300 dollars. So someone paid a 7K. I'm gonna definitely research their name online. I'm gonna search them on LinkedIn. I'm gonna see if they have a blog. I'm gonna see if they have a website. I'm gonna see hey, who is this person? And this is an amazing exercise that everyone should do. Whether you're in email, whether in customer service, whether in the marketing, maybe even if you're the CEO, the founder, or the owner of a company, because it will give you a very amazing insights into who are the big spenders in your audience. Okay. And I promise you, one thing that will probably happen, and this is a sort of a rant, is that if you do this with your, I don't know, your top 100 customers, whenever you go through your landing pages and you try to and you see what images your designers use, you will be disturbed, because you will see, for example, that maybe your best customers are in their 60s, and you will see that your designers use people in their 30s. Or and that's a big pet peeve of mine, is whenever you see those brands who have they try to have someone from, I don't know, every color, every race, every sexual orientation or whatever. Hopefully, I don't get I don't get canceled by saying this. And you will see they want to have this perfect balance between everything. But if you actually look at the people who actually pay you money, it's gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be white dudes in their 50s or 60s, something like that. So you're kind of you're probably gonna ask yourself hey, are we trying to win a diversity award here? Our customers are like that. So why are we using pictures of people who look like everything other than our customers? So this is gonna be a little bit and a big aha moment for you. So yeah, it's been well proven that people are gonna take a look at the images, and if they don't see themselves in the images there, maybe they're not gonna buy. So this is gonna be a great exercise for you to make you go hey, those are our customers, so please try and use images that look like people who buy from us. Okay, so now rant over, let's continue. So all of them are thoughtful people who do their research before making decisions, so I won't excuse anyone calling them simple. Because here, guys, this is very important, guys. We take a stance, okay? So we don't want you calling, we don't want random people who haven't invested in our products to, badmouth our customers. So in a way, you can say that we've become a hero in the eyes of the people who are reading us. And this is a very important. Now about Walmart, yes, you can find $5 stickers there, and if you believe a tip sticker can protect you from the problem, go ahead and buy one. But remember, you get what you pay for. We manufacture our solution in this country. Why? Because we have found out, this country represents the highest standards of precision and quality in the world. Our facility uses rare elements and goes through the unique charging process. That's why our products actually works. And this has been proven through extensive testing unlike those cheap that have a reducted scientific backing. And again, guys, this is a very powerful, because we contrast the cheap option, which is a Walmart, versus our premium option. And we clearly try to communicate why our option is better. And in a way, we kind of challenge people. We're saying, hey, if you have this health problem, this health issue that you're worried about, and you believe that a $5 solution is enough for you, okay, go ahead. You cannot convert everyone. You cannot persuade everyone to buy a premium solution. And yeah, that's not gonna happen. So, but when we, after that, yeah, we take it a step further and we further explain why we do what we do, why our solution is more expensive. And yeah, this is real. Even though the company is based in the US, they don't manufacture them in the US, and they don't even manufacture them in a third world country like for example India, Pakistan, or I don't know, China. They take them, they manufacture them into a European country. So this means that they are forced to pay way more money than they would usually do, because they really believe in the manufacturing. They know that even though the solution is scientifically proven, if the manufacturing is subpar or I don't know, like a world class, yeah, the finished product is not gonna be so good, and this is gonna be a disservice to the customer. Okay, and we try to explain this to people. Again, it goes back to us being a trusted email advisor. And yeah, because your health, and while we could cut corners and make cheaper products, we won't, because your health and your family's health deserve better than a $5 sticker from Walmart. As for the facts behind our solutions, and here again, like we explain, where you can go and find research about our solution. And frankly, this has become a meme within the company. We get I don't know, every day we will get a bunch of emails from people say, I mean, hey, do you have any research about your products? And if you just go to the freaking website, you will see a tab that says research or something like that. So yeah, it has become a meme, but yeah, it's good to tell people, okay, we have the research. So yeah, just go to the website. Okay, I'm kind of against spoon feeding people everything. So yeah, I'm not gonna paste, let's say, 50 links showing our research so to everyone. Okay, they can go to the website. There is a dedicated section on the website about research. So yeah, they can go there. So and there now we go into the call to action, which is also very important because as you will see, it really positions us in a really unique way. So, but if you're just looking for the cheapest option, then yes, Walmart might not be for you. We will stick, pun intended, to what we do best, and this is a little bit funny because, yeah, this is a pun. Creating premium, scientifically proven solutions that actually protect people from the problem, and we'll keep manufacturing them in the country that we do, even if that means our products cost more than a cup of coffee. Because when it comes to your health and your family's health, we believe in doing things right. With that said, below you will find some of our premium solutions. And if you're someone who mainly spends up to $5 to protect yourself and your family, I suggest not looking at them. Because the investment our best customers don't view our solutions as expenses will shock you. Again, guys, this is a very powerful positioning. Okay, it's not just about hey, this is our product, buy it, here's a bunch of benefits, now you can buy it, or here's a random review from a person that doesn't exist, please buy it. Okay, when you especially try to sell something that's a premium price, yeah, you cannot evade those issues. People are gonna be thinking, hey, this is very expensive, why is this so expensive? Or hey, I saw an alternative in Walmart, why should I not get this from Walmart? Or I don't know, is this does this really work? So if one person is thinking those things and they're as motivated to send one freaking email, yeah, there are gonna be 10, 100, thousands, even more people who are thinking the exact same things. So we use this email not just to, I don't know, lazily answer those questions, but to take all the potential objections and position ourselves again as a premium solution. So this goes back to us being a trusted email advisor. Because guys, you can probably also think it of as being a doctor. Okay, a doctor should not necessarily be liked. Okay, you don't go to your doctor to, I don't know, to pamper you, to pat you on the back and tell you, hey, good job, you're 50 pounds overweight, your health markers are horrible, but you're an amazing human being. No, they're not gonna be necessarily rude, but they're gonna tell you things the way they are. This is at least what a good doctor should do. So the good doctor, they should be trusted and respected. And this is the exact same mindset that you need to have with email, because it's primarily a trust-based medium. Okay, with ads on Facebook, for example, yeah, trust is very low. You will see people saying oh, I never buy anything from ads because they're on Facebook, because everything is an ad. But with email, especially people who gave you their emails and who gave you their email and they keep reading their emails, they keep reading your emails. Yeah, there is an extra trust. And this strategy, the trusted email advisor, saying things that need to be said, not trying to pamper to everyone, having like some clear like a, hey, this is for you if you're X and this is not for you if you're like a Y in your emails. Yeah, it's really gonna make you like a stand out. You're gonna write like a emails that have like a nothing to do with your competitors. And frankly, like if you're like in a market where people, I mean, like in your competitors and you, of course, like you're active in the email inbox. Guess what? Like sending this type of emails with this trusted email advisor mindset, yeah, it's gonna make you like a stand out, guys, because those are like a high quality emails that, of course, you can take them and you can use them like in other parts of your business, as we will talk about in a little bit. So this was the first strategy, trusted email advisor. Up next, we have this strategy. You can call it strategy, you can call it principle. I think this is like one of the few cases where, yeah, I mean, calling like both ways works, which is like the list is more important than the offer, and the offer is like more important than the copy or the email. And this is something inspired by this gentleman here, Ed Meyer, who was like a very well known like a direct response like a marketer. And what he found out like after extensive like a research was that 40% of the success of like a campaign depended on the list. So essentially, who was gonna see whatever like a marketing material you created. The other 40% was dependent on the offer. So what are you gonna ask them like to do? Like were you gonna ask them to buy, and what was like that thing that you were gonna ask them to buy? And then only the 20% was gonna like depend of the success was gonna depend on what you said and how you said it. Okay, so this is like a very important to keep in mind, because when you, especially with email, you might think that you can somehow use words or like images, and this is like something that we will touch late in the next part. You can like just like send like some type of emails, and you can like just magically create interest in people. Okay, this is not the case, guys. This is not the case. Okay, you cannot. The writings, the writing and the images, they're only gonna like affect the success of like an email by very little. It's more important to pay attention, okay, to who you're gonna email and what you're gonna have them do. And this brings me like to one of like a very important insight that you can like actually use today, that kind of like it flies against like the common wisdom in e-commerce, which is like oh, they already bought from us, so we don't need to email them. This is like something like a lot of e-commerce brands do. As soon as someone buys from them, yeah, I mean, they're not gonna email them like maybe they're gonna email them with like details about like their order or something, but yeah, you will see that, yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, hey, I mean, they bought, I mean, why should we email them? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Or they might only like email their buyers when they have a promo. And this would be like the dumbest thing you can do. And I don't care like what type of e-commerce brand you have, or even like what type of company you have. This is like a very, very, very dumb. Okay? Why? Because, again, it goes back to the list, okay, to who is gonna see like what you have to offer. And one of the most important like principles in marketing is that if someone has bought from you in the past, they are, I don't know what is like the percentage now, but they're like, let's say, up to 5 times more likely to buy from you again versus someone who has never bought from you. Okay, so by keeping this in mind, you have to understand that the buyer segment that you have, the people who have already bought from you, they're way more likely to buy again from you no matter what you sell. And remember, our product was something that, okay, we proudly said that it's gonna last for 5 years or more. Okay, so by this admission, like you're like, okay, there is no need for them to see another offer from us. But this could have been a mistake. And here like some examples. Let me see. Like I have like 3 examples from you, and you can see like here is we sent the same email to the buyers, and this is like the B is for buyers and P is for prospects. And as you can see here, guys, like the results are $8,000 from the buyer segment and 1,200 only from the prospect segment. And you will see that they're like almost the same in size, and even like the buyer segment, like they had the open rates were lower, which is something that we will talk about like later when it comes to the metrics. But you will see that the buyer segment like it totally crushed the prospects. But this is not an isolated example. Take a look here again. So this one here, this one again, the B is for buyers and P is for prospects. Yeah, I mean more than $5,000 like dollars here, and here like just barely like $3,000. Okay, big difference. Or another example here, like a 4.7 like $1,000 versus like a $1,000. Again, like a buyers versus prospects, and this is like a important, guys, like because this shows you that the people who have already bought from you in the past, they are way more likely to buy from you again and again and again and again, provided of course that you have like a very good product and service. So you might wonder like how come they bought again, like why did they do this? They did this because many customers, from what we found out from the emails, you're gonna see like an example later, they were impressed by our emails and ended up buying like a multiple units as gifts, especially realtors. And let me give you a little bit more context about this. We found out that a lot of people buy this product because they believe like it solves like a problem that is gonna be like irrelevant for themselves, for their families, for the loved ones, etc. And a lot of them actually are like in the service space. So they thought that this product would be like a pretty cool gift for clients. And by doing some deep research on our audience, I noticed that a lot of our like highest spending customers, they were actually in the real estate world. Okay, so we did a little bit of digging and realized that they're buying those products as gifts to their customers. This is something that we wouldn't have noticed, and who knows, maybe if we had followed like the conventional wisdom, which is like don't email the buyers like a lot, like they already bought, there is no reason for them to buy again. Yeah, I mean, we would have lost like I don't know how much money, guys, like really, because I see some really like dumb stuff like being promoted in e-commerce, like in the e-commerce space regarding email, and you will see people saying something like, oh, okay, I mean, I only want to send like one email a month to my buyers. Huge mistake, guys. I mean, for buyers and the prospects, we started with one email a day, 6 times a week. Okay, so 6 emails a week. Buyers would get like this many emails. Okay, that's crazy if you think about it. And they would keep buying again and again and again. Of course, you cannot force people to buy something they don't need, okay? And we never like tried to make people like buy more if they didn't need it, but it's always good to send like a bunch of emails, because this gives people a lot of opportunities to buy in case they're interested. Now, two extra reasons to keep emailing buyers is because you want to make sure they consume your product. And of course, they couldn't buy it or like consume like this specific product. But what I mean is that you want to make sure they actually use it. And this is like a big problem, not just like in e-commerce, but even like in the coaching and information space where I have done like a lot of work, is that people buy stuff, but they don't actually use it. Okay, and you might think that, okay, since someone bought like a XYZ product from you or service, they're gonna use it. That's not always the case, guys. That's not always the case. However, by sending them emails, like quality emails that are like under this trusted email advisor, like a principle that we mentioned before, it makes sure that they are a little bit more inspired every single time to actually go and use whatever they bought from you. And this is, if you think about it, this is like the best type of service you can offer to your customers, making sure that they use whatever they bought from you so they can see so they can experience the benefits, they can take away like the problems they had. This is like the best thing you can do. And another extra reason is reinforcement, because a little bit similar to consumption, but it's to reinforce in their heads that this was a very good purchase, because look at all the cool stuff that's happening, they email me about. So this is gonna reinforce to their heads that this is like a great company, this is a great product. This is gonna, of course, like a lower like any refunds, and of course, if they're like impressed by the product they bought for themselves, this also increases the chances of them buying again, either for their loved ones, for their kids, for their wives, for their husbands, their secret girlfriends or boyfriends, their dominatrixes, whatever. Okay, so this is like something very important to keep in mind, guys. So if there's like one thing I want you to keep from here, is that don't hesitate to email your buyers. I mean, if you're emailing your prospects, I don't know, like 3 times a week, and your buyers only 1 time per month, yeah, guys, I mean, though the frequency should match. Ideally, probably it should be like even more, because again, they're proven buyers, provided that you have like a good product. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna like it. So the more you email them, the better. Some people, yeah, they're gonna complain, and they're gonna be like, hey, I mean, I've already I already bought this, so why do you keep emailing them? In this case, you can probably create like a segment and a link where people can click in, I don't know, somewhere in their email and say that, hey, I mean, I'm not interested in receiving any more emails, and you can just remove them if you want. But yeah, I mean, you should definitely email your buyers. Now, moving on, let's talk about the offers. You probably understand the importance of the offer, but and it goes back to understanding that an offer is gonna be, again, more important, more powerful than what you say in the copy of the email. And to prove this to you, I have 2 more examples. Those are emails that we sent, and as you can see again, here, the buyer's emails had more sales than the prospects. And let's see here, yeah, I mean, same here. So those emails are very simple, just announcing a new offer that we're gonna run, or just mentioning that, hey, you have just 60 minutes to take advantage of this offer that we're running. And I cannot show the emails to you because there are some very sensitive information about the company. As I mentioned before, I have an NDA, I cannot just share them, but you will see that there's nothing magical in terms of the copywriting there. Okay, we just announce the offer, and we give people some options about what to buy. And those emails they perform really well than typical campaign emails. And why do they do that? Because there is an offer mentioned in those emails. And whenever you have an offer, you will notice that the emails will perform a little bit better than if you had just, say, simple campaigns. Okay, no discounts, no I don't know, no free bonuses or whatever. Yeah, I mean, the stronger the offer, the better it's going to be. So, and this brings me back something to this very well-known a marketer and copywriter, Doberman Dan, said, you can't put lipstick on a pig. So meaning that your offer needs to be a very enticing to people. And if it's not enticing, yeah, there is probably nothing you can say in your emails to make sure that, okay, this offer sells. And there's actually a very good example from a colleague of mine who from what I remember, he was working with a nootropic brand, and for some reason, the owner decided to launch a new supplement that nobody asked for. There were no emails being sent to this brand saying, "Oh my God, can you guys please create something like this?" Yeah, nobody asked for this. It wasn't even a really hot supplement at the time. But I'm guessing the owner was looking for a quick cash grab or something, and yeah, I mean, he told my colleague, hey, I mean, write some emails to launch this. And it was one of the worst promos that they have ever done in the history of this company. Why? Because again, the offer was nobody cared about this. So this is something that you have to keep in mind, guys. Again, to summarize, it's first the list, so essentially the audience, making sure that the buyers are getting offers, they're getting emails. Don't exclude them. Don't email them less frequently. Again, I brought you the example of this brand. I mean, the products last for 5 years. There is logically, there is no reason for us to keep emailing like a buyers until like a after like a 5 years. But we did, and if we didn't, yeah, we would probably have lost like a, I don't know. The campaigns were like a 1.1 million. Yeah, I'm sure that we would have made like a. If we had only emailed like the prospects, we would probably have made like a 1/10 of that. So this was like we would have lost like a lot of money. So make sure you email your buyers. Okay, so this is like the most important thing. The second most important thing is like the offer. So whenever possible, make sure you have like an offer that is like interesting to people. You cannot always have offers. You cannot always like offer discount. You cannot like, give them like a sweet deals or whatever. But whenever you do this, just know that even like a very basic and simple emails, they can work magnificently because this is like a how this is like a, we have known this like it work like for hundreds of years. Okay, it's like a 40% like a audience, 40% offer, and 20% like a the email, the design, and whatever. So keep those things in mind. And yeah, this was like a strategy to list, offer, copy. Now let's move on to the next one. Now, strategy number 3, pretty emails are veganizing your revenue. Use plain text emails instead. Let's say you write emails here. And confession time, I had a lot of fun coming up with the veganizing, like a verb here. I tried veganism for, I don't know, a couple of months, more than 2 decades ago, and Jesus Christ, I really feel old now. And I felt horribly, and ever since then, I like making fun of vegans. But yeah, I mean, hopefully like you understand, the point here is that pretty HTML emails, they are actually not that amazing when it comes to generating revenue. And to make sure that we are like both on the same page, let's see, let me show you like some examples of what I have like in mind. So this is an example of a pretty HTML email. So it's primarily like an image, primarily images, like a very little copy. Or here's like another email, like this one, like just images, like barely any lines of copy, as you can see here. And my statement is that those emails are not as good as plain text emails where everything looks like a plain text. And let's say now here like an example from Ben, and yeah, those are like a plain text emails. So this type of emails crush pretty HTML emails even in e-commerce. And we're gonna explain like the how and why, but I think first we need to understand why pretty HTML emails are even a thing in e-commerce. And we kind of have to blame, if you will, two categories of people here. The first one are those who they want to sell their e-commerce business to investors, to, I don't know, to Amazon, Big Daddy Amazon, or whatever. And from what I understand, because I haven't like sold an e-commerce business in the past, but from what I understand, when you present like your business to a potential buyer, they're way more likely to buy the business if they see that your emails are branded. Okay, so if they're like those pretty emails, because the majority of the brands send this type of emails, so the understanding, if you will, of the average person, and whoever is like an investor, whoever is like looking to buy, yeah, they're gonna be like an average person. It's not like they have like a deep understanding of the data and what works in email for e-commerce specifically. Yeah, this person is gonna be like, okay, they use like a pretty emails. I really like the design there. It's like a very branded. It's very like a beautiful whatever, and they're gonna be like a way more likely to buy the business. Okay, and yeah, this doesn't mean that just because it's acceptable by someone that it's like the most effective. In fact, if you look back at the history of like performance marketing, of direct response advertising, etc., you will see that ugly looking like ads, so ads that have like a very limited, very few colors, they don't have like that many images, and they have like a lot of copy, they perform the best. Okay, and that's like it has been proven historically throughout like, I don't know, like maybe centuries to this point. So the internet, it's the same exact thing. Okay, there is like this great quote from legendary copywriter Eugene Schwartz, who said that he likes making his ads ugly because in a world of beauty, the ugly thing stands out. And when it stands out, it's easier to grab people's attention, and it's easier to make them convert. Of course, I'm not saying that, okay, you have to make something ugly and then it will convert, but just understanding that beauty and pretty emails, they're not gonna necessarily increase conversions. Okay, so this is like the one category of people who I think like they are to blame for making like a pretty HTML emails a thing. And the other category are email marketing agencies, and here like one of the things that you have to understand when it comes to like the email marketing agencies and everything like in the agency space is that it's easier for them to grow and scale and make like a lot of money if they offer a productized offer. And a productized offer is something that they can deliver to their clients with minimum like a effort from them. So think of them as like as templates. Okay, so if you have like a bunch of templates that you can like recycle for every single client and just change only 5% of the templates, yeah, this is going to make it like a very easy for them to scale. And this is like one of the reasons why they recommend like a pretty HTML emails, because it's easy for them to templatize everything, especially if they're like in niches like a weight loss, skincare, pet supplements, clothing, whatever. It's easy for them like to templatize everything. So have like a, I don't know, create a template that says, okay, put like a picture of, I don't know, like the t-shirt here, put like a here like a what it's made of, and here like a let's put like a CTA button. Yeah, it's easy for them like to create this type of emails, sell them, and make like a lot of money. Whereas if they had to actually go and create new emails like this one every single time, so you can see like this is like a long copy, if you will, compared to like the majority of e-commerce emails, it's gonna be like a harder for them to scale. Okay, so in a sense, okay, it's better for their business, but it's not necessarily what's best for your business when you have like an e-commerce brand. Okay, and it's always funny, like I have seen like this argument from two email marketing agency owners who said that, oh, people say that, okay, plain text emails like perform best, but I have seen HTML emails beat emails written by world-class copywriters. And my question is always like, can you really afford world-class talent when you pay this much? And this is an image that I got from a full-time copywriter position that was posted by one of those like two big email marketing agencies in the e-commerce space. And as you can see here, they say that, okay, you will be managing approximately 10 clients, and the pay is like $4,000 per month. Okay, now do the math. That's $400 per month per client. Now, here's a question for your good-looking self. Do you really expect to get world-class talent by paying $400 a month? No, there is no freaking chance. I mean, I charge almost as much for 1 hour of consulting. Okay, so you're not getting, sorry to burst your bubble if you have like a hard email marketing agency in the past, but yeah, you didn't get like a world-class talent. You didn't even get like a, I don't know, man, like a C-level talent. Okay, there's no way like a copywriter who knows what they're worth, they're gonna get paid like this little money. Okay, so keep this in mind. Now that we understand like why pretty HTML emails are a thing, I want you to understand like what are like some of the problems with HTML emails. And the first big problem is that they trigger the, yeah, this is an ad factor, okay? And I mean, whenever you see an email that has like a pretty image, a little bit of copy, and then like a button to buy now, what's your natural reaction? It's going to be, okay, this is an advertisement, they're trying to sell me something. And look, if you're like in the market looking to buy, I don't know, like a t-shirt, like a supplement, if you're looking to buy, I don't know, like whatever it's being sold in the email, and you're like really waiting for this one thing, then yeah, of course, like this type of ad, this type of email, yeah, sure, it can work. But you have to also remember that only 1% to 5% of like your audience, your list, like whatever like audience you're looking at any single time, only 1 to 5% is ready to buy now, immediately, for, let's say, your marketing. The other 95 to 99%, they need a lot more like a nurturing, they need like a lot more preparation, they need like they need a lot of more like a financing, if you, finessing, if you will, to buy from you. Okay, so just using like those like a pretty HTML emails that say, oh, here's an ad, you're essentially shrinking the available portion of your audience list that can buy. And the fact is that, okay, you can make people buy if you approach this like if you approach like an email differently. So by not having emails that are just simple, oh, here's our stuff, buy it. If you have like emails that talk about like the problems that they face, they talk about like the benefits that your product offers. You talk about like hey, here's like an interesting question we got like about someone looking to solve this problem. Here are like our thoughts. You are attracting way more people, because someone who's, I mean, the people who are ready to buy at any given time are way fewer than people who, let's say, are going through a certain problem, but they are not ready to buy immediately. And by having like a plain text emails and using like a different angles, that it's really hard to copy this type of angles when you're doing like a pretty HTML emails. Yeah, I mean, you're essentially increasing the available market of potential buyers when you do like an email, right? Next, another problem with pretty HTML emails, yeah, I mean, they don't feel like they're from a real person, and of course, this is gonna like a lower trust. I mean, if you go back to this example here, you see like, okay, here, like for example, this is like a Ben, this is like one of the best like email marketing like guys ever, he's one of the guys I've learned like a lot of stuff from. Yeah, this looks like an email from a real person, and even though like eventually, okay, you figure out that he's trying to sell you something in every email, you see that he does it like in a very cool way. He doesn't do it like in a very needy way. He even signs off using his name. And yeah, I mean, this is like a pretty good approach to email marketing versus like, okay, sending, I don't know, let's take a look back. Let's take a look here again. Again, this doesn't look like it was being sent from a real person. And of course, yeah, I mean, you're gonna be like, okay, they're trying to sell me something. So this is like a very big problem. Up next, and like finally, the problem with like the pretty HTML emails is that you might have some problems with deliverability. Now, deliverability is like a very important aspect. Whenever I work with clients, I make sure that, okay, first of all, we have to ensure that the emails land to the primary, or we get like as many open rates as much as possible. And I'm going to talk about like open rates like in strategy number 5. But for the time being, you have to understand that pretty HTML emails make it harder for your emails to land on your primary inbox if you're using like a Gmail. So with like a pretty HTML emails, it's gonna be more likely for them to land into the promo box. So less people are gonna see your emails because the majority of the emails go there. And yeah, this is gonna of course affect sales long term. But if you're using a plain text email, for example, it's going to be like a much easier to land. Again, I'm not saying that this is as simple as, okay, plain text emails will always land in the primary and pretty HTML emails will always land in the promo, but it's a little bit easier. It's a very good like a starting point to ensure that you have like a plain text email being sent to your list, because this will increase the chances of it landing on the primary inbox. Hence, more people will see it and they're way more likely to buy from you. Okay, and if you want like another funny example, I got this from Troy Erickson, another big guy, big name in the email marketing space. Yeah, I mean, Klaviyo, as you know, is like one of the best platforms for e-commerce email marketing. And I mean, you will see that they always like recommend like a pretty HTML emails to their clients. But look at this. When they're trying to email, when they're emailing their own list, what type of emails are they using? Plain text emails. Now, why are they doing this? Probably because they understand that having plain text emails, it's much easier to land in the primary inbox than using pretty HTML emails. All right, guys. So I don't know, like if this like it doesn't prove it to you. Another funny example that I remember, I don't remember that there's this guy. He's big in the e-commerce acquisition space, and he has like an email marketing list, and he's writing like a long form emails about, okay, here's what's working in e-commerce marketing right now, in e-commerce, yeah, in e-commerce business growth right now, and all of his emails are plain text emails. Okay, guys, so if this guy like a who is like a really well known like in the e-commerce acquisition space uses plain text emails, you kind of like be thinking like, okay, what the hell is going on here, like or I know like other guys who are also like email marketing agency owners, when they email their marketing list, when they email their list, yeah, they're still using plain text emails. I'm not gonna call them out because I'm not sure like if those people understand what they're doing. I mean, all this disconnect, or they're just trying to go along. I mean, they're just like trying to, if you will, ride like a certain wave. Maybe they believe it's easier to persuade people to do something, or maybe they believe it's easier to persuade people if they do what's like accepted in e-commerce email marketing. But yeah, I mean, plain text email is really preferred over pretty HTML emails. And what I have right now is I have like a couple of case studies, one from a colleague of mine, and then like from one from another brand that I have consulted a little bit. And yeah, I mean, this will give you like a pretty good example of pretty HTML emails versus text, plain text emails. So let's see like my colleagues Mike Gorodi's like a case study.
Hey guys, my name's Michael and I'm a copywriter and email marketer working with 7- and 8-figure brands in the health and fitness space. I also work for a couple of quite big personal brands, which I cannot name, but accounts with 2+ million followers, 120 to sort of 300K size email lists, just to give you a little bit of context about me. So today I'm going to quickly talk about this kind of ongoing debate between text-based versus branded emails and which one is better. So I suppose I'll frame this firstly by just saying that I think context is always important, and it very much depends on like your audience and what you're selling. You know, I won't go too much into why, but I think it's just important just to kind of have that caveat before I dig in, because I'm not here to say, you know, that text-based emails are fundamentally bad, that they don't work, because I think they do, and I have seen them work, and I'll even show you that in some situations they actually do still produce very good results. But anyway, let's just get into it. So one of my clients is a 7-figure nootropic brand, and we've been working in the past with agencies who would cover like the branded side of emails, where I would just write the text-based side. So generally it was about 6 emails per week, 3 of which were coming from the agency. Again, all like flashy, pretty, typical e-com style branded emails that you probably recognize. And then I was writing text-based emails, usually from the founder. So all I did really was just look in Klaviyo over all time, over the past 2 years, and just to see kind of, you know, who won. So what I found was that actually, if we looked at the top 10 emails of all time in terms of just revenue generated, 7 out of 10 of those were text-based emails. Now, granted, most of these were promos, but even if we dig in further into our promo emails, and again, this kind of goes back to like the kind of nuance in that like branded emails can have a purpose, especially when it comes to promos, where people just kind of want to click, they want to see what's on offer. You don't really need to do too much heavy selling. So the best performing branded promo from the agency was this one. We had about £10,500 in revenue, good numbers overall. And this is just a snippet of like what it looked like. Very, very standard, what you would come to expect. However, our top performing text-based email for a promo was quite marginally better. So you can see we did £15,300 just in the first email. Um, and I'm not going to go into like too much detail in terms of how I would structure or how I do structure text-based promos, but generally it's just usually just weaving in a little bit more entertainment, looping in characters, and just kind of giving some story kind of telling in the email just to make the promo more interesting, because usually promos are quite boring. It's just like buy now, buy now, buy now. So I always like to kind of frame the promos in a way where it's just fun. So for example, this one, like I just framed it as a delivery mix-up, and we had told this story of our operations manager just bursting into the office, red-faced and out of breath, panicking that we had this delivery screw up, and we had to like move the stock really, really fast. And I took a little UGC-style picture as well of the stock. So yeah, that's just a kind of taster of how I would frame a text-based promo, and how it differs from a branded one, whereas a branded one is very blunt, quite, I don't know what a better word is than sterile. Just here's the discount and here's the click button to buy. So yeah, there's always ways that you can add layers to text-based promos just to make them more fun and interesting. Perhaps that is why they still have outperformed our branded emails in that respect. But also further down the line in the promo, I think text-based emails become even more important because after the initial surge of keen beavers who just really want to buy it already, you're going to have to do more kind of overcoming of objections and things like that during the dip. And you can't really achieve that with a text-based you can't really achieve that with a branded email because again you're limited in terms of what you can say, right? You've only got a few lines of copy at your disposal. So that's where text-based really shines in promos. And something that we do is we actually do a mix. We, at least right now, the launch and closing emails will use branded ones just for that purpose of like literally here is the big colorful button, go buy it. And then everything in between is text-based because, you can use that to just help get people over the finish line and buy through overcoming objections, storytelling, and all that kind of good stuff. So that's a snapshot of like our promos. Again, text-based has one on that front. In terms of the actual just campaigns where there's no discounts or anything happening, again, looking at the agency that we worked with, I don't know if you can see that very well, but granted, this was some time ago, 2022, 2023, and the list has changed since then. Our circumstances have changed, but looking at these numbers, none of the emails did more than £1,000 in revenue. So yeah, they weren't great. We did work with another agency after that, which actually did do a lot better. And again, I'll give credit where credit is due. Like one email actually did have the highest revenue generated of all time. I just looked at that. But that was just once. It was literally a one-off. And I imagine there's probably other factors at play that managed to deliver that result. I don't think it was purely the branded email itself was better. I would also argue that I'd done so much kind of rapport building with the list through the text-based emails that once we did fire out a branded one, the know, like, and trust factor was already there. So this just kind of helped to take people over the finish line. But nonetheless, like all of our top text-based emails have made more money than any branded campaigns overall. And historically, they've just dominated and they continue to do so. So I'm going to share with you numbers, but before I do, this is our best performing text-based email for just a regular campaign of all time. So I'll just quickly talk about or rather show you what an email like that would look like. So it's pretty straightforward. Most of these emails, we frame it around the customer, and we usually talk about customer stories. Those ones are always quite powerful. We do a variety of things, but this is just one of the examples where we kind of what's the word? We kind of just like cheer on our customers who are succeeding, and tell their stories and use that to like motivate and inspire our customers. It kind of helps with that trust element, and it's obviously just social proof, but it's the storytelling that people like, I think, as well. And it's just that kind of like humanness that you just can't get with branded emails. So that is kind of the gist of it. But we do all kinds of things with our branded emails. We take trending topics and we break them down. We do like customer FAQs. We do a lot of just good stuff that, again, you just cannot physically do with a text-based email, when all it is like 90% image and just a little bit of text. But yeah, again, like when I pull the numbers from like our best text-based emails, they've all done better. They've all done like £7,000 and above. These are just a few examples. And even the second agency, even though they got this one winner, the rest of them didn't do as well as these ones, despite all the pretty images and things like that. They just didn't perform as well. So yeah, that's just kind of it in a nutshell, really. Again, I'm not here to say that you can never use branded emails. I think there's definitely a use case for them, particularly when it comes to promotions like Black Friday and things like that, where literally the only action you want people to take is just to know where the hell the button is so they can go through and buy. And I think ultimately, you can approach it where you do both. I don't see there a reason to like choose one or the other. And if anything, doing both allows your customers to have different experiences without feeling like you're just emailing them too much. If that makes sense. Like if you were to do like 2 to 3 text-based ones a week, those would offer a very specific experience, whereas the branded ones would offer a different experience, a more.
Thanks a lot, Mike. You're a gentleman and a scholar. He actually forgot to give his contact details, so I'm gonna do it for himself because I'm such a nice guy. So this is Mike's Instagram handle if you're like interested in having a chat with him, and here is his LinkedIn account. So definitely reach out to him if you're interested. And now he showed like his case study. And what I want to do is actually show you another case study. This is from a knife brand that I have done a little bit of consulting. I mean, nothing like a crazy. I mean, I didn't write their emails or anything. I know they're making, I think they're making like they made like a 12, 13 like a millions like last year. So yeah, I mean, it's not like a small brand. And what I want to show you is that they were primarily sending pretty HTML emails in the past up till like 2023, but then in 2024 they started like using plain text emails too. So I want to show you like a little bit, like those are like I have filtered them placed on the emails that have generated like the most amount of money, and you will see. Yeah, okay. I mean, the top two they were like for 2023, but after that, like after they started using like a copy based emails, and you will see that it says like a copy based and image based, because like they're doing like some tests, and you will see that all the copy-based emails ever since, I mean, in 2024, and now we have like 2025. Yeah, I mean, they started like crushing it. Like you will see here like a copy-based email, like lots of money. Copy-based email, lots of money. This was in 23, 24, like a copy-based again, a lot of money. 24, like again, a lot of money. Copy-based, 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 copy. Like here, like, we had like a one image email. Now like a copy-based emails, like again like a lot of money, and you will see like their top like 25. Yeah, I mean there were a lot of copy-based emails in their top 25 of all times. That, yeah, I mean they made like the majority of the money here. Okay, and that's not okay. That's like a top 50. Yeah, and I just use this example because with supplements, like what Mike showed you, you can make the case that oh, um, it makes sense for plain text emails to make like this much money because okay, I mean maybe you need a little bit more selling, a little bit more finessing, if you will, a little bit more persuading. But those are like this is like a knife brand, guys. Okay, so at first glance you will be like, I mean, you don't need copy to actually sell a knife. You just saw like a picture of the knife, and they sell some really cool knives. Like I have I'm actually looking to get a friend a birthday present, and I'm probably gonna get them like one of these brands knives because they're like so freaking cool. And you, I mean, it's an easy sell when you just saw a picture of the knife. Yet they started testing plain text emails versus HTML pretty emails. And yeah, I mean, the plain text emails have really crushed the image heavy ones. All right. So I'm not sure like how else like to put this. Like if you are primarily using pretty HTML emails right now, you owe it to your brand to actually do a decent test with plain text emails. All right? Because I'm not a betting man, and this is kind of funny if you look at my dad's history with the sport, but I would guess that you would make like a way more money over, let's say, a period of time. Of course, maybe I don't know, maybe you're not gonna make like a more money immediately. Although I know for a fact this brand started using plain text emails, I think immediately during they tested like a plain text emails in 2023 is like a Black Friday deal, and they have been using like a plain text till that point. And yeah, I mean they have been using like a pretty HTML to this point. And after they started using like for the Black Friday, those plain text ones, yeah, I mean they completely crushed. It was like a very interesting experience. Then for some reason they switched back to pretty emails, and then they decided to make like the full-time transition of okay, we're gonna be split testing between like a image and plain text emails. And yeah, I mean ever since then they have made like a way more money with plain text emails. So yeah, I mean they had like almost an immediate ROI. But yeah, maybe this is not gonna be the case for you because I don't know what type of brand you have. I don't know like how big your list is. I don't know like what emails you have sent in the past. But yeah, I believe that when you do like things right and you actually hire someone who knows what they're doing, yeah, I mean they're not getting paid $400 a month to write to like to create like a 30 emails for you. Yeah, I mean that's not a professional. Sorry, that's someone from Fiverr, I guess. Yeah, I mean you will see some amazing results. Plus, the really cool thing, and I don't think like a lot of like a people in the decent in the I don't think like enough good email marketing guys like and gals like I mentioned this enough. Like a secret benefit of plain text emails is that you can use them on your front end too. So we will see examples like in the next part, but plain text emails are very versatile. So for example, let's say you write a really good email that really resonated for, I don't know, with your buyers list, and maybe I don't know, maybe you're answering a question that a lot of people have asked you throughout like the last few weeks, months, whatever. You can actually take the same email, maybe with like a few tweaks, and you can use it as a Facebook ad, maybe going to your middle of the funnel or maybe like your bottom of the funnel audience, and you will see that this new ad, which is like an email essentially, it can bring in lots of sales. We have seen this with the brand that this is the case study for. And yeah, I mean the chief marketing officer, he's like, hey, I mean, send us like more of those like emails because they work really well in the middle and the top and the bottom of the funnel. And you cannot do this with like a pretty emails. Like it's okay, you're gonna maybe you can post like a pretty ad and maybe it's gonna like resonate with people who again are looking to buy right now. But with plain text emails, because you do not just talk to people who are ready to buy now. You talk like to people who have like a few questions, they have a few objections, they need a little bit more persuasion, they need a little bit more facts. And when you do emails right, you do plain text emails right, yeah, I mean, you can take something that you used for as an email and then recycle it into other parts of your business. And you know what? I mean, I think it's best if we talk about this like in the next section. So now we're done with like a strategy 3 and we're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, now this is going to be like a very cool piece because yeah, I mean, I'm gonna show you some revenue boosting email frameworks that can even grow your front end. And this is like what I mentioned like previously. Now, first things first, I'm gonna show you 3 frameworks, but throughout the years I have created, I don't know, like over 100. Okay, this is not like a course or anything. I'm just giving you some examples of what really worked in this brand and what I believe it's gonna work like for almost all e-commerce brands for reasons that you will understand. And the first framework is what I like to call a deep dive into the audience. And it's not just the audience, it's like the marketplace, it's like the list. Anything that you do when you're writing the emails that makes you like a better understand the people you're writing to and what it's gonna like really resonate with them. So for this example, I wrote an email based on a kind of like a forgotten like a story that in a way, if you will, it kind of like a snowballed into a very important event that happened in this industry. Again, I'm being a little bit generic here because I have an NDA. I cannot like share like exact details about the product or the problem, but hopefully like you will see that when we go through this email, you will understand that okay, this took research. Like it's not like as I mentioned like previously with the email marketing agencies, it's not something an agency can offer to you because they have like this productized like offerings and they really want to do like a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 things for you every single time so they can work on another client. But yeah, that's okay for you if you don't care, but I personally really prefer working with clients who appreciate like this extra step, appreciate this taking it like a step further when it comes like to better understanding the market, their audience, their list. And yeah, I mean, this is always gonna lead into amazing emails that, as I will explain to you, they can grow your front end. So the subject line was brain tumor x-rays that shook Wall Street. And here essentially, I'm not gonna read it because I don't know, I find it really boring when you're shooting a video and someone is just reading like everything. But this is like essentially like a story from back into 1993. Talks about like a how Congress like forced essentially the cell phone industry to spend $28 million on studying cell phone safety. Then it goes back like to why this happened, and it talks about like a Florida businessman's wife who Florida businessman who actually sued the cell phone company because his wife died from a brain tumor. He even went to Larry King's live show, etc., etc. It was all over the news. The telecommunications industry went into panic mode, and yeah, I mean, they said that no, I mean, the statement by this gentleman who had lost his wife and his lawyer were just like a nonsense. Yeah, but the association wouldn't have it, and yeah, I mean, it shows you like something that happened like back then. That's yeah, I mean, everyone who's in the market they would be interested in, but most of them the fact is that a lot of people, even if they're like interested, even if they have like a problem that they're looking to solve, they almost never do like a deep enough like a research into the topic to find out what has already worked in the past, what has happened, what things people tried but they didn't work. So by writing emails like that, you're doing like a very good service to your market because first of all, everyone is a little bit interested into the history of things that they enjoy. Okay, I'm a very big marketing geek. So personally, I always enjoy listening and reading like stories of back in the day of like the old school legends. Okay, my dad, he used to be like a very good like a soccer coach, and yeah, I mean the guy, I mean, always loves like a cool soccer stories. Okay, maybe this is probably the same with you. I don't know like what you're interested in, but yeah, I mean there's always like this sort of, you, I mean, you really enjoy listening to stories from things that you're interested in. So this story, yeah, I mean, it really resonated with people and it made us a lot of money. But since it was like a so well written, yeah, we took the entire email, and I think it was like 1,000 words long. I'm not pasting like the entire thing because it's gonna be like 5 pages here. But yeah, it was so good that I don't know like who saw it like from the marketing team, but they took it, they turned it into a VSL lead. So essentially, the first 1 to 2 minutes of a video sales letter, and they used it for our control. And yeah, I mean, it was a winning lead for a few weeks. So essentially, as I told you, like this company is spending like a lot of money on ads every single day, and there is this thing called like a ad fatigue. I mean, you really need like constantly new creatives. So by taking like a winning email, turning it into a lead, yeah, this help us like keep bringing like more customers to our business. Again, why? Because it was like a very well written email. And again, guys, this is not something that you can do when you're only sending pretty HTML emails. You cannot turn like a pretty HTML email into a winning lead. No, there's no way you can do this. All right? So this is like a framework number one, like a deep dive, deep research like into the market, the audience, the list, whatever. And personally, they're like I enjoy doing this like for all clients. I enjoy like going deep. So I would read like books. I would take a look at support tickets. I would try to figure out more about like the history of the brand, because this might give you like a very unique insights that they might not be interesting to you, but they might be interesting to the people you sell to. So yeah, I mean, they're amazing like a email fodder material. So yeah, I mean, lots of ways to do this. Again, as long as you have the willingness to do it. The next framework, and it's like a very simple, it's testimonials. Okay? But I think that people in e-commerce, they don't do testimonial emails right, because from what I have observed, and maybe I don't know, maybe you guys, maybe you do this like in your brand or you don't. A lot of people, I mean, they're just gonna share like a they will almost always use testimonials as an afterthought in an email. So maybe it's going to be like a testimonial in the middle of the email, as like oh, here's like what, I don't know, Bob or Susie said about us. But this is not a smart way to use testimonials, because if you, depending on your, I'm guessing like depending on your business, some of the testimonials that you get, and it's not like all of them, but they will be very good pieces of content that are pre-written for you, and you can use them to grab attention and grab like a relevant attention. So perhaps like the best example is to just show you. And the subject line here is like, Thomas slept better and had no morning headache. I think headaches here. So here essentially it's a bit long testimonial that we got. And it goes, and again, it starts like this, very simply. Here's a great testimonial we recently got from Thomas. I have an iPhone, blah, blah, blah. I keep it away from it. And essentially here, like, I mean, I'm just pasting like a Thomas, like a testimonial. There have been like I usually do this either by just pasting the text, or sometimes I might also give the image of the testimonial, because in my mind this is like a small, it's like an extra step of adding proof in your emails, because when you do this, it's like it makes people go, oh, okay, so he's also sharing like the picture of the testimonial. So yeah, I mean, he didn't like create this. He didn't like come up with a testimonial on the spot. It's not a fake thing. I mean, I can see the image, and they can also like go to the website and take a look. But yeah, this is like a testimonial, And yeah, I mean, I'm just sharing like here the experience of Thomas. Now, what's interesting is that you will see that he mentions about like sleeping better and having no morning headaches. And it's a very good, smart idea to actually lead with this. Okay, why? Because the sleeping better and no morning headaches are benefits that our people want. Okay, so by mentioning it on the subject line and essentially like telling people who are gonna read the email that hey, here's what it contains. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna bring in like a more relevant people. So that it's gonna bring in like people who are interested in sleeping better and like they have like a no morning headaches. But if we use the testimonial as an afterthought in an email, yeah, I mean, you probably wouldn't write like a subject line talking about like a sleeping better and morning headaches. Now, another cool thing here is that he says, I have read the recent and have read the correspondence sent from the non-believers. And here he's specifically talking about the emails that we sent. Because as I told you initially in our email marketing strategy, yeah, we also tackle questions of people who don't seem to believe in us that much. So what does this tell you? That, okay, the people who are interested in your brand, and they're already in your list, opening your emails, I mean, they're reading, I mean, they're serious about like wanting to invest in your brand, and maybe they're not like 100% believers yet, but if you keep sending emails, I mean, they tackle like questions, they handle like objections, they position your brand in the premium way that it deserves to be positioned. Yeah, I mean, people will eventually buy, and email is gonna be like a very big needle mover. And from there, I mean, I didn't just like paste the emails you can see and say, okay, go buy our stuff. I just say, I'm glad you enjoyed the Thomas. I'm even happy that they help you sleep better and get rid of those nasty headaches. As I always try to explain, our products might benefit you and they might not. And this is like a very important for us. This is like perhaps like a most important line like in the email, because the brand, okay, it doesn't make like a specific promises that okay, you will improve your sleep on or you will get rid of your headaches. And we do this because there's not like a lot of research proving that this helps. We have heard for people using the product that hey, I mean, I got like this benefit from you. But we have also heard from people who say, hey, you know what? I mean, I didn't experience anything, but I like having it for peace of mind. And again, it goes back to us like being like a trusted email advisors. We don't want to create like a false expectations to people, and because even if we create like a false expectations, this might get us like a few sales, but this will annoy people. And who knows? Maybe they won't buy from us. They won't refer us to their friends and loved ones. They might even ask for a refund. And yeah, I mean, this is like just a great way to approach like a business long term. And again, this was like a high earning email. And as you saw like from like the comment here, yeah, I mean, people are reading your emails. So again, it goes back to email marketing being like a very good investment, provided you do it like as we talked about, like under like the trusted email advisor like a principle. Now, let's move on to like the last framework, and it's very simply questions and answers. And again, this might seem like a simple framework, but frankly, man, I mean, it seems like there are always ways for people to mess this up. And one of the greatest like examples I have in mind is using fake questions, such as, "Oh, how come your product is like so amazing?" And I don't know whoever like wrote this email. Yeah, I mean, they come up with like a really goofy answer. Um, don't do this. Like use real questions from real people and answer them, because the real questions from real people are, I think they're almost always they're gonna like convert better, because anyone who's gonna read these questions, they'll be like, yeah, I mean, this sounds real. Whereas if you have like a fake polished question, if you have a fake question, it's gonna look like a very polished, or it might, I don't know, it might be like written like a little bit weirdly. So yeah, I mean, people's BS detectors will go on. So use like a real questions. And I'm just gonna give you like an example here. Why don't I feel anything when using the name of the product? And as I said like before, yeah, I mean, this is something that some people have mentioned in their emails that, hey, I mean, I got XYZ product. Yeah, I'm not exactly feeling something. Is this okay? Should I expect something? And yeah, I mean, we try to, yeah, make it a point of saying to, hey, look, I mean, for some people, yeah, I mean, they're not gonna experience anything, but a lot of our customers buy this product for peace of mind. And again, here, like, we start with, like, here's a great question we got from one of our customers. I'm coming up on 90 days. I've used this. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I mean, great question. Yeah, you're not missing anything. I mean, this problem affects us all differently. Some people are more like a sensitive to this and can instantly feel like the results, and other people, yeah, they might not experience anything. Yeah, in their case, they just invest in our solutions. And again, like, remember what we said about investing, like, in the first, like, example that I showed you. Yeah, I mean, our best customers see this as an investment. They don't see this as an expense. And yeah, I mean, we really want to drive home the point that whoever buys from us, they view it as an investment, not an expense. Yeah, and they do this, like, because they want, like, a peace of mind. They want to know they've done everything in their power to protect themselves and their loved ones, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, and of course there are others who use our solutions and actually experience results, just like Brad M, who recently wrote. And I think they use these guys. No, I mean, I used, like, a different guys, like, a testimonial to, yeah, I mean, kind of show you that, yeah, I mean, some people might not experience something. Yeah, and this is, like, a normal, and they choose to keep using our products for peace of mind. But some other people, yeah, I mean, they actually experience something. And that's where I use, like, another testimonial. And again, this was, like, another high earning email, and it further grows trust, because this is a question that all the people in our customer base, not our prospect base, they're gonna have. Yeah, I mean, because, yeah, I mean, they have tried it and maybe they didn't experience anything, but it's also like an insurance for us, if you will, for prospects. So if someone, like, reads this email and is interested in our product, yeah, they will probably, some of them will buy while understanding that, hey, I am not gonna necessarily experience, like, I mean, my headaches are not, like, gonna go away. I mean, I might not I might, like, not be able to sleep better, but I understand the bigger implications of the problem that it solves, and I just want to buy it for peace of mind. So in a sense, it actually educates prospects to be better customers for the business. And this is, like, a very, very powerful, guys. Again, I have way more frameworks, but those three frameworks, like, say, the deep dive research into your market, your audience, the people you sell to, testimonials done right, and questions and answers done right, they're, like, a frameworks that you can use, like, in any type of, like, a e-commerce brand, not just, like, a e-commerce, but this is, like, for any type of, like, a business. So yeah, this is, like, a very powerful. And with that said, now we will move to strategy number 5. Now, here is a joke that I always like saying to set the stage for this strategy: one metric to rule them all. I am traditionally from Greece, and the last few months, like, I'm spending, like, some time, like, in the Philippines too. And everywhere I go, okay, no matter what, and I've also, like, traveled to other countries. I have been, like, to Brazil, I have been to Turkey, I've been to Hungary, I've been, like, to Poland, and, like, other places too. Wherever I go, they never accept. Whenever I try to buy something, they never accept open rates for money. They never accept click rates. They never accept conversion rates. All of them, those, like, a capitalistic pigs, they all of them want money. And I'm guessing this is the case with you in where you live at, right? Every single vendor, and you too, you do not want to get paid in metrics. You want to get paid in money. So if this is the case, then why are we, excuse me, why are we, why are we, why is everyone, So, if this is the case, why is everyone going bonkers about increasing open rates and increasing click rates and increasing the conversion rates or increasing the revenue per subscriber or something like that? Those are just soft metrics, and I will explain in a bit what this means. Whereas there is you shouldn't pay that much attention. And there is the one metric to roll them all. And yeah, I'm kind of paraphrasing Lord of the Rings here. But first, you have to understand what's the problem with focusing on those metrics. And I like saying that this is how agencies or noobs manipulate numbers. Because as you will see, there is a way to manipulate or cook those numbers to make it seem as if there is progress when there is a zero progress. And I'm gonna show you also a real-time case study from an agency that made me go, really? I mean, are you guys joking? So for example, let's say that the company XYZ had an email list of 100,000 subscribers sending regular promotional emails with a 12% open rate. Now, what's a typical agency tactic that they will use? They will segment the list to only mail 20,000 people who opened the emails within the last 120 days. Because you can always do this in all type of ESPs, email service providers, whether that's a Klaviyo, whether it's a SendLane, Kit, Aweber, everything. You can segment based on who has done something. It can be when they last opened an email, when they last clicked it. You can segment them. Okay. So what they will do is they will say, hey, only create a segment that, I mean, it's only for people who open between those last 120 days. And what's gonna happen? The segment is gonna naturally shrink from the original. So in this case, in this example, and of course, this is a hypothetical example. Yeah, I mean, but it's always gonna shrink when you do for your own business. We went from 100,000 subscribers to 20,000 subscribers, and the email marketing agency will send emails, and yeah, open rates will naturally jump to, let's say, 35%, 40%. It doesn't matter. Okay. And they will get back to you and say, well, look, we increased the open rates. Isn't this amazing? Didn't we do an amazing job? But the truth is that they didn't do anything. They didn't actually make you more money. Okay? Because just because you increased the open rates does not mean that more people are gonna buy. You didn't magically make people you didn't make people a better offer, as we said here. You didn't send better emails that people are interested in reading. No, I mean, you just manipulated the numbers, and this almost never, not almost, never will lead to more sales. And I will explain why in a bit. Now let's say another example. Let's say this brand, yeah, I mean, they were sending emails to their entire list of 50,000 subscribers, and they were getting a 1% conversion rate. The agency decided to just email people who have opened something in the last 60 days, and yeah, I mean, the conversion rates increased to 4%. Again, why? Because they shrunk the responsive segment, if you will. And when you shrink the responsive segment, of course, the response that you will see, yeah, I mean, it's gonna increase. But this is not gonna necessarily mean that it will increase the revenue. It almost never does increase the revenue. And in both scenarios, in all and this is just examples for open rates and conversion rates, but you can do the same, let's say, for click rates. Or let's say you wanna increase the revenue per recipient. Again, you can email only the people who have bought something from you in the last, I don't know, 60, 90 days. And guess what? You will see an increase because those are gonna be the most engaged people. But this is not gonna lead to to way more income to you. Why? For many reasons. Okay, first of all, and this has been a problem for email marketers the last few years, tracking on those email service providers, it's not always accurate. So for example, when you actually segment out the people who haven't opened in let's say 120 days, it's not always it's not always the case. Because for example, maybe they have some weird setting that doesn't allow the ESP to know that they have opened their emails. So they might be opening the emails, but the ESP is just not registering this. So essentially, people who are reading your emails, yeah, I mean, you will stop sending them to them. All right, so this is like a big problem. The other thing is that it kind of like ignores how people make purchasing decisions. I'm just gonna give you like a good example here. Let's see. This is, I'm gonna show you, no. So this is like another guy who have bought like a bunch of stuff in the past. You will see I haven't like opened his emails in a bit, okay? So in the email marketing agency's eyes, I would be like a non-responsive buyer. But the thing is, I mean, here's like his name, Michael Senoff. And if I show you the receipts here, let's go to Senoff, okay? You will see that throughout the years, I have bought from him 16 times, okay? I don't know about you, but I consider myself like a pretty good email subscriber for this business because I have bought many times in the past. The reason I am not opening the emails, a lot of the emails, is because that, you know what, right now, I am not looking to buy, let's say, a new offer for like one of the things that he's selling, but in the future, I might be interested in. But by taking me out from the segment, okay, because I haven't opened an email, it ensures that I almost will never see the new offers that he is sending. So essentially, they would have removed a proven buyer by like using like this logic that, hey, I mean, we're gonna remove the people who haven't opened an email because yeah, open rates are more important than sales. This would be like the dumbest thing in the history of the world, okay? So that's like a very bad thing to do. And if you want to see like perhaps the most bizarre email marketing success case study of all times, this is like another example from an email marketing agency. So what they did here supposedly for this brand is they took like the email attribution from 20% to 62% in 8 months. So essentially they say that, hey, while working for us, like this brand was able to make like more money from their emails, like while working with us. This is like what they try to communicate. But let's take a look at the numbers. As you can see here, it was like a 20%, okay? And this was like the attribution. And then after working with them, the attribution went like to 57.55% total, okay? So if you look at just like this metric, it seems like there has been a progress, right? But if you actually look at the revenue, you will see that nothing happened. Essentially, like this business went from $220,000 in this like a period of time to $43,000, so they made less money for whatever reason. And this agency is, I don't know, is like patting themselves on the back for increasing the attributed revenue, even though it's like almost half what it initially was. Now, personally, when I saw like this case study, and again, this is from a well-known email marketing agency in the e-commerce space, I'm like, dude, something is wrong here. Like they cannot be seriously be trying to use this like as a case study for people to buy from them. So I went ahead and like read the case study, and yeah, I mean that's exactly what they're doing. They think that it's an achievement to increase the attribution even though the business made less money. Again, I'm not sure like what type of funny stuff those guys are smoking, but there you have it. This is the problem of being so much metric focused while missing like the important stuff. Okay, now to be fair, there is one benefit of like those soft metrics, and I call them soft metrics because again, they don't necessarily drive revenue. Okay, so why would you want to like pay attention to those soft metrics? Let's say that you have, let's say you send an email, and I mean, in usually, let's say usually your emails get 50%. Okay, open rates. then you send an email and it drops to 4%. Okay, this is a sign that something happened. Okay, maybe you have deliverability issues. Okay, maybe you sent it to the wrong segment. Something happened, okay, essentially. So you have to figure out what happened and improve this. Another example, let's say that you usually get, let's say 2% click rate, and suddenly it dropped to 0%. Okay, again, something happened. Maybe you forgot to add a CTA button. It could be something simple as that. Yeah. Or you thought you added like a CTA button, or you connected it to a hyperlink and you didn't. Yeah. This is gonna show you that okay, there was like a problem here, and yeah, I mean you can fix it. Maybe you can send a whoops, we forgot to add a link email, which is like they're kind of famous like in the industry. You can use them as long as you don't abuse them. But yeah, I mean you can do them. But there again, you have to remember, guys, those are like a soft metrics. They're not like a help you like a make more money necessarily. Okay. Another thing like to say about like the metrics in general is that you can again use certain tactics to increase them, even if you don't like mess up with the segment, but maybe you can mess up with something that happens like in the copy. So for example, you can send, I mean, if you want to increase the open rates, you can send pure curiosity subject lines. You can, no, not send, you can use pure curiosity subject lines, okay? So this means instead of saying something like how to lose weight how to lose, let's say like 5 pounds in the next 7 days. So this would be like a it's not like an amazing subject line, but it's like a subject line that, okay, it's gonna bring in like a certain people in there. Let's say that you use like this type of email or subject lines, and you usually get, I don't know, like 35% open rates. You can, if you send like a pure curiosity subject line, it could be something like a war. Okay, so this is like a pure curiosity subject line because you have, when you see this, you're like, okay, what is this all about? So this could increase, let's say, your open rates by, I don't know, maybe it can take them to 40, 45%. And people will open this, but they will not be happy with the experience. Because as soon as they open the email and see that it's like something they're not interested in, they might unsubscribe, they might press the spam button, or they might lose trust in you. And I mean, trust is like a switch. I mean, once you turn it on, like it's really hard to turn it back on. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind. You can also like manipulate like your click rates. So let me give you a good example. Or let me erase like the research. There you go. So there like some. Now take a look here. Like those are like from those like a scammy. There are like a lot of scammy businesses here, and you will see that they change even like the from name. So it's like a oops. This is literally who sent this email. It's like a oops. Or like a skin aging. They don't say like a, for example, Fotis Nicolaou. They don't say like a Ben Settle. They don't say Michael Senoff. They use like a, those like a scammy from names to get like a higher open rates. But let's see. And they can also like a use, let me find like a good example here. Okay, I found a very good example here. So this is like, again, obesity killer. This is like a subject line. Fat dissolving liquid. This is like the from name. And again, like those things, they're gonna get like a high open rates because people are gonna be like, a fat dissolving liquid, who is this? Or obesity killer, who is this? Again, but this doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna have like a good experience for people. And another, I mean, here's like a strategy that can increase like a click rates. This mysterious liquid allows you to erase fat instantly like it never existed. And you're gonna click here and it's gonna take you to like a video sales letter. Okay. And this is for sure gonna increase, it's gonna get you like a way more click rates. Why? Because again, it has curiosity. And when it has curiosity, you're like a way more likely to click something. You're way more likely to respond somehow. But this doesn't necessarily mean that it will lead to more sales. Maybe you're gonna annoy people. Maybe again, they're gonna lose the trust they have in you. And they're gonna be like a way less responsive to emails you send to them like in the future. So hopefully this makes sense, guys. It's very easy to manipulate those type of like a soft metrics. You can either like a use, I mean, you can shrink like the segment and email like the most like a responsive people, as we mentioned, or you can use like this type of like a tactics where it's like a, I don't know, use like a over the top like a things on the subject line, on the from name, or let's say create like have like a lot of curiosity to make people like a click, and this will give you like a boost, but it's not gonna be like a relevant boost. It's not gonna like increase your revenue. So hopefully you can understand like a why focusing too much on the soft metrics is not a smart idea, and what you should do instead is like to focus on the one metric to rule them all. And a lot of people think that this metric is like a how much revenue was generated by a single email, and this is wrong too. Why? Because it goes back to understanding the psychology of an email buyer. Now, if you have never bought like a stuff from emails before, it might be a little bit okay. You might have like a little bit of resistance when I'm saying what I'm gonna say next. But the psychology of the email buyer is very rarely the oh, I saw an email and I bought. Okay, this might happen sometimes, but the true psychology of the email buyer is I saw an email about a product, I am interested, I'm intrigued enough, and I'm gonna read more emails till I am either persuaded to buy or I decide this is not for me. So what's gonna happen? Unlike ads, where someone can see like an ad and they can buy something like immediately, with emails, people, the majority of the buyers, they're gonna go through like a multiple emails. Maybe I mean I see this like, and again I see this with myself. If I'm interested in an offer, I will very rarely buy from just one single email. What I will do is I will read all the other emails that the company, that the brand has sent over, let's say, I don't know, this week, the last few months, whatever, till I am persuaded that this is for me or this is not for me. And then I am going to buy. So it's really hard to attribute a sale to a single email. Sure, sometimes this might help. Okay, this might like give you like a good idea about like the effectiveness of an angle, the effectiveness of an email. But if we're looking at things like a long term, yeah, the best idea is to have, let's say, a certain period of time, let's say the last 30 days, and then seeing like what emails like worked then. And this brings me like to the one metric to rule them all, which is like how much revenue was generated over like a certain period of time from emails. Okay, not from a single email, because remember, the psychology of the email buyer is that they're gonna read like a 2, 3, 4, 10 dozens of emails before they buy something. Okay, so it doesn't make sense to make the important metric to be like it's just the revenue generated from one email. It's the revenue generated during a certain period of time from emails. And this, like in my like a humble opinion, is like the most important metric to keep in mind whenever like you're trying to decide, hey, email is working for us or it's not working for us. It's not gonna be open rates, it's not gonna be like a click rates, it's not gonna be like a revenue per recipient. Those emails, they can always be manipulated. And another good point to make here is that you see like all this type of crap, such as like oh, here's like the industry standards like in open rates, the industry standards is like a click rates. Klaviyo is very big on those things, and they're also like a bullshit. Why? Because again, as we mentioned, you can always manipulate those numbers, and those numbers don't show us like the revenue generated over like a period of time. So my recommendation is don't look at the industry standards. Okay, and if you think about it, like People always say that, oh, this is like the standard in e-commerce. But for me, this is like a very dumb statement because e-commerce has a lot of micro niches. Okay, for example, this brand that I show you the examples of this case study. Yeah, I mean, I told you this is a hard mode health e-commerce brand. They don't have subscription. They don't have, let's say, they don't do like aggressive discounting. So can you really put this like under the same like a umbrella as every other type of e-commerce brand? No, of course not. Like supplements are going to be like a different. So you have to keep those things in mind when you're like doing like your email marketing. Someone is calling me. Let me just close it to them. Yeah. So yeah, you have to keep those things in mind, like with your email marketing. So hopefully all this like it makes sense. And now what I would like to do is like do like a little bit of summary of this like a really long video. So first things first, we talk about like the importance of being like a trusted email advisor. Frankly, guys, if there's like one thing I want you like to keep from this like a video, it's like a try. Yeah, I mean, do what's best for your market. Okay, and this is like a mindset that will really drive the how and the what you do like with your email marketing. Of course, if you're gonna hire like someone like me, you don't have to worry about you doing this. I mean, I'm gonna like be the trusted email advisor in your, well, sending like emails to your list. The other thing that you have to keep in mind is like a list is more important than the offer, and the offer is like more important than the copy and the email. I know that a lot of like talks like online will make it seem as if what you write or what you like put in the emails is gonna be like a really the most important thing. But no, I mean I've seen this like with like a dozens of businesses throughout the years whenever like I've worked with them like with their emails, and you have to make sure that your priorities are in the right order. So if you have like a buyers list, the buyers should be emailed as frequently or even more frequently than the prospects. And we can have like a conversation about like I mean, what do I sell those people if I don't know, like I mean, I'm not sure like if they're gonna buy again from me. There are like lots of ways to approach this as long as you're like open-minded. But yeah, keep in mind that okay, who you email is gonna be like a more important that okay, what you email them. Up next, it's like the offer. And we have seen this like again and again and again. A very simply written email that announces an offer, a new like I don't know, like a product, a discount, a package that you're selling is gonna outperform like most of the times like a very like a well written emails. Of course, you cannot always be offering like a new things, and you need to have like a little bit of value in your emails to make sure that people keep reading them and buying from them. But yeah, I mean, keep those things in mind. So like the list and the offer are like a very important. Now, when it comes to the actual email content, the pretty emails, the pretty HTML emails, yeah, I mean, they're gonna veganize your revenue. As I said, I'm really happy about, I'm really proud of this expression. I might turn this into a book, who knows? And they're gonna veganize your revenue, and plain text emails are gonna give you like a way more money. I showed you some case studies, and yeah, I mean, even if you're not like 100% convinced that plain text emails are better, you owe it to yourself and your brand to at least test those things. Okay, I mentioned that okay, you don't have to wait. It's kind of hard like to test things after sending like a one or two emails. So maybe you can decide that hey, I mean, we're gonna test like a really well written plain text emails versus the pretty HTML ones for let's say 30 days and see what's gonna happen. And then depending on what's gonna happen, this should lead like your decisions. Up next, we talked about like some really cool like revenue boosting email frameworks, and those are like for campaigns, they're like for promos, they're like for your flows, they're for everything because good emails are very versatile. Okay, they can be used like in different parts in your email marketing journey for your customer, and as you saw, they can also be used to grow your front end because good quality emails are very versatile assets. And I have like this concept that I call assets from emails, where you can use like a wherever you want. Okay, I just show you like a few examples here, and maybe in future videos I'm gonna show you like cool, even more like examples of how you can take like a good emails and recycle them to help you grow your business. And lastly, one metric to rule them all. Please, guys, don't pay too much attention on open rates, click rates, like conversion rates. Those are like a soft metrics. Understand like how they can help you and how they can't. Most of the times, yeah, I mean, they're not like a good indicators of like a success, especially when it comes to revenue. As I like joking, yeah, I mean, in Greece, in the Philippines, okay, everywhere else in the world, they don't accept like open rates, conversion rates, click rates as payments. So yeah, why do you care about those things too much? You should care about like how much revenue was generated from email over a period of time. And with that said, guys, this was like the case study. Hopefully you found value in it. If you're interested in having a chat with me, either like for consulting or helping you with your email marketing, yeah, you can get like a information in the video below, or you can just message me. I'm not sure where I'm gonna post this, but yeah, hopefully you found this valuable, and yeah, I got like more videos like this coming up in the future. So take care, guys. May the pose be with you, and yeah, stay handsome.